I'll just, whoops. All right. Okay. So we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Today, I'm talking with Thomas Bear, also known as, what is it, Element X 74?
Yeah.
Is that it? That's who he is on Twitter. If you want to follow him, it's Element X 74. So when I first read that name, the first thing I thought of was the Powerpuff Girls, but I think that's Ingredient X or something that they use to make them. Anyways, what we do on this story on this particular discussion or type of discussion is we talk about how people found their way away from their belief systems or faiths or whatever. And Thomas has a bit of a story to tell, so let's get down to it. Basically, Thomas, go back to when you first started realizing that some of the stuff just didn't make sense to you and you were starting to have your doubts.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. Well, I think early on I had some doubts when I was a kid, when I was young, to begin with. But I always got answers. I always got non-answers, such as God works in mysterious ways, or who are we to question the Lord, or who are we to question the preacher, and like that. But since it comes from my mom, so I just let it slide. Like okay, my mom's not going to lie to me or anything like that. But over the years, my doubts.
Hang on a second, Thomas. Do you have something else going on in the background there?
No. There's a feedback a bit though. I'm hearing the audio of what we're talking after we've said it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, do you have it playing also?
I don't know. I just took the join on the Hangouts.
Well, maybe try and whatever is shouting back. It's kind of, I can hear our conversation, so
yeah.
Maybe look and see if you have it playing in the background. Just hit the mute button, and then we won't get the feedback and stuff.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, that's better. Yes.
There we go. That's what I had. I had your channel on a separate tab.
That's probably what it was. I was hearing all that. Oh, anyways, carry on what you were talking about there.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, I had questions and doubts early on with that kid, but got non-answers. Answers weren't really answers. They're basically just, this is what it is. Deal with it, kind of. As I got older, I had a friend in high school who was an atheist, and we debated quite a bit on and off, and it made me think a lot about, it brought up questions, it deepened the questions I already had, really, and brought up more questions.
What kind of questions was he asking you?
Oh man, that's going to be stripping my memory. I can't really recall anything specific off the top of my head now, but he would just point out different things, and ask me why I believe this or that, and he'd point out in different ways, that basically I was being told, to believe that, and not thinking for myself, and over time, that grew on me, and even then I realized he was right. So I started asking questions of, from church members and all that. I was in and out of church throughout my life. I grew up in a Methodist church. Even went to church camp all the way through my senior year of high school. And but after high school, I was in and out, mostly out. I'd go to different churches here and there. Sometimes it was because of a girlfriend I was with at the time, or other times it was, lower points in my life where I was having troubles, and I thought that maybe I could find the answers in church again. So I do that, but I never did. I even got to the point at one time where I was helping out with youth, and writing little short, I don't know what you call them now, lessons, so to speak. And over time, this question just grew more and more, and they nagged at me, you know. So I started researching for myself because I wasn't getting the answers first. You know, I remember, for example, one question that I had asked a youth pastor at one church that I was at, you know, was as far as Christmas trees. You know, the scripture says, you know, not to decorate, you know, the tree with gold and this and that and so forth, as the pagans do.
Right.
Yet Christians do that every single year. You know,
Yeah.
and his answer was, well, God knows the intentions of our heart. Okay, so, and that didn't make any sense to me at all. You know, because Scripture says one thing, but you're doing another, and you're saying that it's okay because God knows the intentions of your heart. You know, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
then
it
we
doesn't.
thought of other simpler things like that. Then I can't remember the name of the book. I came across this really small book one time. What was I wish I could remember the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. But
I
it
hate
was
that.
it was about basics of the book was about different mythologies and religions and origins of them.
Right.
You know, and the origins of some of the things that are common throughout them. You know, and that made that, you know, started getting some answers there. So let's see.
I always found it kind of interesting that I always said, you know, one of the best ways to possibly convert people is to start handing them stories that sound similar enough from what their old beliefs were, so that make it a little easier for them to sort of slide into this new belief system.
Right.
You know, so that's why we see a lot of similarities in the old mythologies and the modern day. Well, I call them mythologies anyways, but yeah, a lot of stuff is stolen from different places, right? So.
Yeah. I started seeing that, and started realizing, you know, wait a minute, you know, okay, you know, the Bible has such and such story. But if you go look over this, you know, mythology from pre-Christian era, you know, it's got almost verbatim the same type of story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, how can the Bible, you know, be true? You know, it's just it's based on something that came before it.
Right.
Let's see. Never done this before, so this is new to me.
Hey, take your time, man. There's no pressure here. Just whatever you can remember about it, just let us know.
I said I was in and out, you know, mostly out of church a lot this year. But the last time I was in church was probably, yes, the late 90s, somewhere around 97, 98, 99.
Wow.
And let's see. I lost my track of thought there. Sorry.
Last time you were in church, where were you going with that?
All right. Where was I? I don't know. I've gotten more involved in it, and I said it was a particularly low time in my life. Have difficulty finding work, getting behind on rent, and this and that, you know. And so I went back to church again. You know, again, look what I thought I was doing. I thought I was looking for that relationship with God. You know, looking for answers. You know, in that way. But over time, I realized I wasn't looking for God, you know, relationship with God. I was looking for a relationship with other people. You know, so people have, you know, like mindset. And I realized that's really what it is all about. It's the relationship with other people, you know, that people mistake for a relationship with God.
Right.
You know, let's see.
Well, I guess it was a sense of community you were looking for.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This is community that I didn't have at the time. But,
and I guess at the time you didn't realize that it could be had in a secular fashion rather than a church fashion. Right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't. I didn't have. Right. I've always been somewhat of a loner. You know, I've got word I'm looking for. I've got attributes of both an introvert and an extrovert, but I'm more introvert than I am extrovert.
Right.
For various different reasons. Some others just disappointed with people in general. I found that, I don't know, it seems to me like for 8 out of every 10 people you meet throughout your lifetime, or at some point been proved that they weren't worth messing with to begin with. You know, you know, it's hard to say that, but that's how it seems to me. too many people they're self-absorbed. They're all the they're greedy. They're looking out for what they can get out of a relationship. They're not true friends to people.
Yeah.
And so like that. And so a lot of that, I guess, is a part of it also.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I think that today a lot of the messages that are sent out to the youth is that, or not so much that messages are being sent out, but they seem to have this air of self-importance that's a little bit on the delusional side. And I
agree.
think that just comes down, right?
I agree.
From like other places too, that gives them this impression.
Right.
But so a little bit of that has wormed its way into their mindset, I guess. So.
Right.
And it's too bad because I was always raised, and I'm sure you were to some degree, that you always want to make sure that everyone, at least that you care about, your friends and family, are doing well, and you try to be there to support them. And that kind of seems to be flowing away. But then on the other hand, I see examples of that sort of coming back too. So who knows ultimately where we'll end up, right? Hopefully for the better. And sorry, carry on too.
But as you're saying like that, I agree with you on that. It seems like, I don't know, people are self-absorbed. They're caught up in all the wrong things too. Keeping up with the Kardashians, and crap like that. NFL, Sunday night football, and they turn a blind eye to things that truly matter. But back on the track of religion and all, until I realized, after it's a matter of indoctrination. When you grow up from the time you're a little child, and you're taught to believe a certain thing, you don't know anything. When you're taught, and this is another one of the things religion does, it teaches you not to question.
Yep. Always be wary of anything that teaches you not to question what they're telling you.
Exactly. I think one of my designs I made along somewhere along that line. I think if I remember correctly, or had an idea for one.
I think you showed me something like that, something along those lines.
But let's see. Back on that, let's see. In the late '90s, I was going to church again, and I got involved with the youth. I can't recall exactly now. The questions, the started coming back to me again. Because I was living my life, the way the church said I was supposed to. I was being active in the church, this and that. Yet I didn't see any real change in my life. And it wasn't just my life. There's so much in the world, at large. The suffering of different people. Kids with cancer. All the starving kids, in Africa and all other places in the world. All the different wrongdoings, going on. And if they were just loving God, we were His creation, He cared for us. How could it let all this go on?
I know.
So.
I mean, especially that whole thing recently about the discovery of 1,000+ kids, that have been molested by the Catholic Church priests and stuff like that. And it's brutal. And you got to think that a God that is how they describe Him to be, all-knowing, all-loving, all that, He would at least listen to the prayers of those children, at the very least, and do something. But nothing has ever been done, right?
Yeah, there's been several memes that I've seen along the same lines, but if your God, doesn't care enough to protect these children, from pedophile priests, what makes you think He cares about you? And other similar memes along that line, and they're right on point.
Well, I've also seen, people defending the church, we must defend our belief system over giving a shit about these children that are obviously going to be scarred for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's like,
and how many of these kids are going to take their own life because of what happened?
Yeah, many have. Many have already.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen much about that, but I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah. I've heard of a couple, and I'm sure there's, quite a few more that, I haven't heard of.
Well, it's supposed to be the one place they can put their ultimate trust in, right?
Right.
And it gets
Yeah.
betrayed in this way, and it's just like it's mind-numbingly painful in my like
Yeah.
I hurt just thinking about it. It bothers
Right.
the shit out of me, right?
Yeah, same here. And like you were saying, people, go defend their faith, like I understand, how strong indoctrination with uh, basically brainwashing, indoctrination and brainwashing are both synonyms for each other. When you look it up, one indoctrination is the very first synonym listed for brainwashing, and vice versa. And I understand how strong that can be, but in light of things like Catholic Church, hiding and protecting, and transferring these priests around, yeah. And how can you still defend your faith in like that? I don't understand that.
Even if people kept their faith in a god or whatever, but gave up on the church, they would lose so much power, right? So
yeah,
that's probably not going to happen either.
Right. And
it's unfortunate.
Thing. Very sad.
I don't know how you could trust the whole idea when you've got the Pope who drives around in a bulletproof car. You figure the one guy who's a direct word of God himself, right? The one guy who's probably the most holy would be protected from that shit, right? But no.
God is your protection, and why do you need a bulletproof car?
Yeah, exactly. I always thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
Anyway, carry on, sir.
All right. Well, let's see. Like I said, around 99, 2000 is when I really, stopped believing, in God and all. There for a few years, I was in a transition, kind of where, I considered myself spiritual, but not religious. I went through that phase, and then over time, even those beliefs, that I was hanging on to, still I let them go one by one, and I realized that it was all BS.
Well, what kind of things were you getting into?
Let's see. But I did a lot of reading on different stuff. I've read on Celtic mythology, and different other spiritual type stuff like that.
Did you say Celtic mythology?
Yeah, Celtic mythology and Wiccan beliefs.
I followed that path as well.
And hold on, I've got a cat meowing at me to be let outside. Just a second.
Sure. I'm gonna grab some.
Sorry about that.
I had an old book that I had for a long time that I read, and when you're reading it, you're thinking, oh, it sounds like it could be, right? But I don't know. It's a load of horseshit, really. But it's this called The Science of the Craft. Because although I was into some more alternative kind of things, right, I was still thinking, science-y, right? And the whole quantum physics sort of opened up for me at that point. And this sounded like it could be a good read. And I got about 3/4 of the way through this. And most of the time I was like, wait, what? So it sort of doesn't make a lot of sense. But, I keep it for reference.
Right.
So,
Actually, I can't remember the name of the book. I came across one book at one time during that time frame. It was similar to what that book you showed me. And it tried to meld spiritual beliefs and spiritual supernatural happenings with science, and say, this could, but as you said, it's all bullshit.
Of course, I didn't realize also at the time that what I know now, science deals with the natural, not the supernatural, because we really don't have a way to measure it, at least not yet. And every time we try to, the supernatural just seems to not show up. Right?
Exactly.
It's not coming to the parties we keep throwing for it, right? So
supernatural is just a term that people throw around for what they can't explain. There isn't anything that's actually really supernatural.
Yeah.
It's
You
an
always hear
actual
that.
role,
It's
it's an
just,
actual universe.
yeah, you always hear
You
that. It's just
understand.
science we don't understand.
Yeah,
No, it's science we don't think is science. So
right.
it's pretending to be science, kind of like
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra.
Oh yeah, I've read a couple of his things back in the day too.
I get that he means well, but he's just making shit up. It's a bunch of
Right.
fancy schmancy word salady garbage, really. So
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I came to that conclusion too after not. I didn't read the full book of his, but I did read parts of 2 or 3 of his books. And I was like,
yeah,
you gotta be
yeah.
kidding me. People
I
buy
know,
this?
I know. Often I like what I think it
Are
was
people?
Sam Harris that was yelling at him for that kind of shit. So
Mhm.
with all this word salady stuff, but it means nothing kind of thing,
Right,
or was Krause or something. I can't remember which one.
right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
carry on. We keep
People just,
sidetracking.
people aren't, they're not, people aren't comfortable not knowing. You know, they
Yeah,
have to have an answer for things, even if it's made up.
I know. I think that's still a little bit of the human nature, though. I think we all kind of would like an answer and not have to say, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
let's face it, I don't know is at least intellectually honest, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. I feel like
So,
the same way.
we don't know, and you can also add a tagline to that. We don't know yet,
Right.
but we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. There's some things we may never have the answers for.
Oh yeah,
You know?
for sure.
I don't know if human civilization will last long enough. You know, I don't
No,
think we'll find all the answers. Period. But I think
no, I don't think we ever will either.
sad to say, but I think we'll end up destroying ourselves before we, before coming to that point of having those answers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely. I mean, there's many questions I don't think any human being will ever know in our history, and that includes the future. And there's lots that you and I definitely won't ever know. So,
right.
but hey, I'm always impressed by the discoveries we do make, right? At least
Right.
while I'm here.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'm kind of hoping that they change their mind. This is off track too, but I'm kind of hoping that they change their mind about me donating a kidney to save a friend of mine, so that I've seen these bionic ones coming out, and hell,
Mm-hmm.
give them one of those. But
Mm-hmm.
if that's not going to work, they could at least try.
All right.
But they won't do it because apparently the surgeon board has some no harm policy, right? Which I understand, of course.
Huh.
But is it really looking out for me? Or is it looking out for their own backs, really? Because I'm
Uh,
still willing to do this, even with the risk, right?
yeah.
So, but
Huh.
what do you do?
That's sad to hear.
Well, yeah, it is. But I got a couple of friends of mine that are being tested right now. They've decided to step up and give it a go. So
Cool.
one of the guys is almost finished, and he's a go so far, just like I was. Just as hope he makes it past that last hurdle, which
Mm-hmm.
is the one where I didn't make it past when they finally went right in and scoped it out, and they found an anomaly in each kidney, right? So
Yeah.
minor shit that wouldn't bother me if I was to leave them alone, but they said they felt that if they went in to deal with it, that it might cause a problem later, so they didn't want to carry on.
I see.
Well, I don't mind having a problem issue that we can deal with at some point, as long as my buddy here gets some more life added to
Right.
his, I mean, the guy is on dialysis every single night. Neither of his kidneys work, right? So he
Yeah.
goes to bed and hooks up to a fucking machine for the night.
Right.
Without that, he'd already be dead. So,
Yeah.
and I can't fathom that. He's got 4 kids and a wife, and his mom lives at home with him. It's really sad.
That is.
But I can only do so much, man. At least I stepped up to try to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And,
That's been ruined in and of itself.
yeah. Well, I still go over there and hang out, and his mom still gives me big hugs all the time. She says I didn't know. She knows that I couldn't quite do it. She doesn't even speak English. She speaks Hindi, I think. But but man, can she cook? And I love Indian food, so it's awesome. Anyway, we're totally off track here now, so let's get back to you're in the early 2000s now, and you're getting involved with the weird shit, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't really get involved in it. I read about it.
Yeah.
Basically, I was looking. I guess you could say I was looking for a replacement for religion. I guess. Because at that point, I still, I felt there was something greater out there. I just didn't know what. So I was reading on different material, trying to see if I could figure out what it was. Maybe, see if maybe, this Wiccan stuff, has any viability to it, or this, or that.
I know it's kind of silly because that stuff has all kinds of gods and goddesses involved too, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it didn't take me long to realize that it was all crap too. But
just as made up as the modern ones.
Right. So that's pretty much it. 99, 2000 is when I fully, left, faith and all the silliness, and realized it was all crap. And from that point on till mid to like 2016, I was a closet atheist. Yeah. I still to this day only know less than 5 people, fellow atheists in person. My social life is pretty much almost 100% online through Facebook and Twitter. I don't get out much. I don't do much. I'm on disability, mental health and physical, back issues and mental issues, social anxiety and stuff like PTSD and stuff like that. So I don't get out much. Plus, I don't
PTSD. Oh, from military service?
No, mine is from early childhood traumas.
Gotcha.
That thankfully I don't consciously remember. There's not very much of it. There's some of it I do, and most of it I don't. Kind of an abusive childhood, but so that's the limit of that. And I've got the social anxiety. Plus, I can't afford to get out much because I'm just on minimum disability. So I don't have the funds to go out and do much anyway. But I used to, back in the day, I liked to go to concerts. I even worked at a place called The Door in Dallas, Fort Worth, a little music venue. I used to love doing that. But nowadays, I can't even go to a concert. I get around too many people, and it's too loud, and people, it triggers me.
Yeah.
It triggers my issues. I can't deal with it.
I have a few friends like that as well that can't get into too big of a deal like that. It kind of makes them freak out a little bit.
Back to see where I was. Summer 2016, I signed up on Facebook for strictly to try to find a couple of my old high school friends.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it kind of, after a while, blew up from there. I never before thought you could actually develop true friendships with somebody purely digitally online. But I've got quite a few friends now that I actually call true friends, and I only know them online. There's 2 or 3 of them that I now have contact with outside of Facebook also.
That's
most
good.
Most of it's still through Facebook.
Well, I consider you my friend, Thomas. So.
I consider you your friend also. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah,
now you're going to be an accessory to all my online crimes. You realize?
All right, I can handle that.
Okay.
Anyway, I was on there for a little bit. I did that. Got a couple of my friends, and I started looking for atheist groups. And I joined a shit ton of atheist groups in my first few months on Facebook. But I've cut that back down to just a few now. Probably maybe.
Yeah, I did the same.
Maybe about
some of them are just too fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, I'm in about a dozen maybe now. I'm only active in half a dozen of those even. I've got my own group that I started, off the Chain Atheists.
That's right. You added me to that one. That's right.
Yeah, it's a small group. I think I've got maybe 500 members, maybe.
That's decent size.
Yeah,
but I notice it doesn't go like wacky in there. It's always fairly level-headed. The people that discuss things, so that's cool.
Let's see. I started off making memes. Not too long after I started on Facebook, and I got the atheist pages. I started making some memes, not just atheist ones, other memes too, like involving weed or just different silly ones.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I was in a couple of comics, like Marvel comics and DC Comics type groups.
Awesome.
So I made some geek type memes too. Let's see. So I started off with my Mad Memes Factory page. Is what I started off with, and after that, I started my Holy Jalapeno memes page, which is my strictly atheist memes. Let's see. I've got. Let's see. I lost my track of thought again.
One of my favorite comic book memes is one I have that I use quite often when somebody says something so ridiculously dumb. It's got Superman and all his multiverse personalities all holding their heads like this. It says when someone says something so stupid that it affects you in a negative way through the entire multiverse, which I just think is awesome.
That is great. I like that.
I'll send it to you. It's fucking classic, man. It's awesome.
That's good material right there. Let's see. I started off making my memes just using online generators, simple ones where they take a picture and put the text and had it either on top or bottom, just box text. From there, I progressed using Microsoft Paint, so I could do a little bit more with it. Place the text wherever I wanted it, use different fonts. And then a friend of mine hooked me up with a cracked version of Photoshop. Maybe I shouldn't have admitted to that there. well, hooked me up with Photoshop. I started running it. Got better, started making better memes. Let's see. Then I got started with my shirts. Started designing shirts back January of last year. And after a few of my friends said that some of my memes would make great shirts. Particularly some of my ganja-related ones. I got some of them in there.
Wait. They showed your memes to people in church?
No. Some of my friends told me that some of my memes would make good shirts.
Oh, shirts! I thought you said church.
No. Haven't been in church in a long time.
Well, I've seen some of the ones you've done. You showed them to me. They're actually pretty cool.
I showed you some of my atheist ones. I don't know if you've seen any of my other ones or not.
No, you've just shown me the atheist ones. By the way, guys, I'm going to interject here. I'll put a link in the description after the conversation, and if we have an after party, which I'm feeling we probably might do. So I'll put a link into the description to where he actually has these things for sale, because some of them are actually quite good. So look for that later on.
Yeah, I'll type up a little thing with all my links to my pages and for all that, and all in one.
Yeah. Send them a request to join the Off the Chain Atheists if you're interested in something like that, because it's actually one of the better groups to be a part of.
Okay, I'll include that also. Let's see. Where up now? I'm not sure where he's looking now.
Well, you're almost up to where you are now, I suppose, aren't you?
Yeah. Even after first being on Facebook, I was still the closet atheist for the most part for a little while. And then slowly I got more involved. The more memes I started making, the more designs, shirt designs I started making. The more I got some attention from all that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten in contact and made friends with several other people that are true, activists. To me, I'm just a part-time activist. I don't try to even call myself my activism is limited to my designs, to posts that I make, expressing my opinion on different things that matter, or sharing information on different important issues.
Yeah.
So I'm not out there on the front line, like, for example, Sally Buck's Lone Hunt, or, the YouTubers like Godless Engineer, or any of them. I just learned a friend of mine.
You ever gonna start a channel?
Probably not. I'm not. The only reason I have the YouTube on there channel is for my videos that I made for my promo video that I made for my coffee page. It's a website called Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah.
It's kind of just similar to Patreon and Patreon, how you pronounce that.
I support a couple of people through that one as well.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I just discovered it here recently. That's what might as well
It's a
try
decent
it.
app. You throw a couple of bucks every month their way, and it helps, right? Every little bit helps always.
Yeah, and it's not with it you don't have to sign up for a monthly. You just do a one-time donation.
Yeah,
and then,
right.
And actually right now I'm doing a fundraising promotion through the coffee page.
Why don't you send me that link as well, and I'll put that in the description as well, so people can see it.
I'll include them all.
Okay.
Promotion, I'm seeking to raise $100, most of which I'll use for Facebook advertising for myself, But if you want to do it for that, for every donation of $3 will be one entry to a raffle. I downloaded this raffle program through the Microsoft Store. You enter your list of names, and then it will randomly select a winner.
That's cool.
So you can do, like I say, each copy, quote unquote copy, is a $3 donation. And so each $3 donation will be entry at a raffle. So if you if you bought 5 copies, $15, that'd be 5 entries into it, so on.
Just gonna see if anyone has any questions.
Yeah.
Just want to find out if the people do want to join us in an after party, and also if they have any questions that they want to ask you. But carry on, man. Keep talking. This dead air is kind of it's gonna drop the ratings, man.
That's good. I don't know. Kind of, I've got for too many years. I've been, like the majority of other people out there, distracted by my own life, by my own issues, by my own problems, and I hadn't really looked outwards at the bigger picture. And in the last couple of years, I discovered humanism. I'd never heard of that term before. And from once learning that, I strive to be, humanistic in my thoughts and my actions as well now. But so I've opened my eyes to the larger issue. Realize there's a lot more going on out there, that far more important than whatever little issues and problems I have in my life. Racial inequality, inequality at any time. Discrimination. 45 being in office. That's one of my designs. I used to be a voter, just a voter. Now I'm an activist.
I still am utterly amazed that guy even made it.
I know, and I'm literally sickened by it. Anytime I see his face or hear his voice, I'm just like, oh, I should.
I know.
I do agree with a friend of mine, though. He's made the point that in the long run, he thinks this actually might be better for America that he got voted in. Simply for the fact that more people have opened their eyes and realized to bigger issues and they're becoming involved. More younger people are becoming involved in politics. More women are becoming involved in politics.
Well, I think what's definitely coming to the forefront is the fact that this whole, there's so many people that are still bigoted and racist and whatnot within the country, and these people are now bubbling up to the surface, right?
Yeah, they feel emboldened by his presidency.
And maybe that'll, wake people up and say, shit, we got to change this shit because these people are not good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's starting.
Yeah.
I've seen more millennials, getting involved.
Somebody's got to impeach that clown, though, at some point.
I know, right? And sometimes I just wish I could go to sleep and not wake up until he was out of office.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work that way.
No, unfortunately.
Like I said, my activism is small change. I'm a small fry activist, really. I'm not out there on the forefront, like some of that business.
We all are, man, but together we can be a force.
True. Very good. Very good point. Very good point.
And that's why I do stories like this, is so that people can hear, oh, there's other people and they're talking about this, and I don't have to be afraid to do this anymore. I can come out, I can let everyone know, and we can join forces together and do what we can as a group of small fish to make change for the better.
Right. Very good point. That's true. There's quite a few people that inspired me to do what I do. I just learned of the death of a friend of mine, Jack Longmire. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I just found out from his sister that he died back in June. He was the man behind the scenes of the Facebook page, Atheist Off the Hook Memes.
Right.
And he and I chatted quite a bit. We even chatted over the phone a few times about possibly collaborating. We never did. But he was a good friend of mine.
I'm sorry to hear that, Thomas. It's always tough when you lose someone, a friend, man.
Yeah.
I've lost many over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Move on. We do
and you know, they'd want us to, right?
Yeah. That's I think the true measure of someone's life is, is the legacy we leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I want my legacy to be, I don't expect it to be great or grand or anything like that, but I wanted to have, do some measure of good, and affecting somebody's life better. Even if it's in the smallest way, even if I never know about it.
Yeah.
But I do, I've had friends, tell me, they thank me for what I do, and they're glad I, do what I do.
That's great.
Which isn't much, but.
Yeah. If we can impact at least one person, that's something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Getting a little choppy here. Oh, okay, we're better. Sometimes my internet gets a little bit bogged down because I live in a complex where there's like 1 billion people using the same server, right? So,
I'm in a small complex. It's 18 apartments.
Oh, that's not bad. Ours has got probably 100 of them in here. And it sucks too because we live right beside the railroad tracks over there. So every once in a while, like once every hour and a half, a fucking train goes by, right? So, and it gets really loud. Not as loud as my buddy's place because he's on that side where the track is. So at those times, like you got to hit the pause button when you're watching a movie for the fucking train to go past before you can get back to it, right? It's like, fuck. Oh, well, good time to grab another beer. Anyway, sorry.
I used to live close to a track back in Granbury. It was quite annoying.
You get used to it though. Like it doesn't wake me up anymore or anything.
Yeah.
So you're in Texas, right?
Yeah, I'm in Texas. Austin now.
Have you ever gone to a taping of the Atheist Experience or anything?
No, I haven't.
You should do that, man. Fuck, if I lived in Texas, I'd probably be there every Sunday.
and I'm here in Austin too.
Right? Like they'd be kicking me out. They'd be like, "Oh, you're here too much. Go away."
I did get to meet Matt Dillon once, just a brief handshake.
Nice.
Down under the bridge downtown, under 35.
Very cool.
Each Sunday the churches gather and they do food handout and they have their little thing. But also once a month there's a group called Atheists Helping the Homeless.
Yes.
Which actually started here in Austin. A friend of mine, Joe Zemecki, started it here in Austin back
very cool.
In 2009, if I remember correctly. It might have been longer than that.
I heard Matt's actually a pretty nice guy, pretty humble guy.
He's pretty cool. I didn't get to really talk with him like they were just a quick handshake. Hey, nice to meet you. They were down there doing a giveaway.
Very cool.
But I actually had an idea for a project, which I contacted the ACA, the Atheist Community of Austin, and Austin Atheists Helping Homeless. And I received an email back. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's I think he's the vice president and volunteer coordinator for both Austin Atheist Community of Austin.
Phil Session?
Yes, Phil Session. Yes, that's him.
He runs all that stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I had an idea for a project. I even got a name for it called Project Shoehorn. I don't know if it's going to take any ground or get anywhere yet. I haven't heard back from them after my last email. But basically, shoehorn is used to assist putting shoes on your feet. Yeah. And so my idea for the project, is to help put shoes on people's feet that people in need. And I contacted them thinking that maybe we could pair up with them, possibly you could, and collect shoes, donations, and pass out along with the other giveaways that they do once a month.
That's a good idea.
There's an organization called Souls for Souls, SOLES, and the number 4, and then SOULS, and that's all they do. They collect shoes, and they're a worldwide organization actually that passes out to. But I passed on their information to Phil, to make it for the possible source for large scale donation, possibly. They have to work with 501c.
Right. Right. Now, the name of that thing, you said Souls for Souls, right? Is there any, because we think of souls, we're thinking, again, that's tied to religion.
Yeah.
Is there anything tied to this about that? Or?
Not that I've seen. No, I haven't seen anything on their website specifically about religion.
Okay. Because it might not be a good fit if it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that giving people shoes is a bad idea, but of course it's a great idea. But if there's a catch, if you know what I mean, then maybe.
Well, as far as I know, I didn't see anything on your website, about religion at all.
Very good.
About passing out shoes and kind of help with poverty and stuff like that.
Of course.
So
anytime we can, we should do that for sure.
So I don't know if anything will come of that or not yet, but hopefully it would be cool if it did.
Yeah.
That would start off. It would help me too, because I've been saying, getting my message to Phil, that I'm pretty much an introvert, and I need to try to change that, get out a little bit.
Yeah.
For one, I'd like to meet more people that like mine, more atheists, more free thinkers and stuff. It's like I said, I only know 5 personally, in person. The less than 5 I don't. So, I agree totally. Good way to do that and do some good at the same time.
Well, I think we've got ourselves a fairly decent community through Twitter and YouTube now. I mean, everyone's sort of working together and stuff, and I think that's really cool.
Right.
I mean, I'm on the next interview I'll be doing is with the guys from Godless, the Geek Room or whatever, the Godless Geeks. They're both coming on the show at the same time, so that's going to be kind of fun.
Cool. I haven't heard of them yet.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You should check them out, man. The Godless Geeks and the Geek Room is their YouTube channel. They do some really. They're pretty funny guys too. This should be a hoot and a holler, as Trey Parker and Matt Stone would say.
Okay, I definitely will. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're getting close to our hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I think we've pretty much covered your whole deconversion thing, and now you're a full-blown atheist activist, and as one that's been one for some time. Not so much the activist part, but that's been more recent. Welcome to the club, Thomas. You know what I mean? Is there anything else you want to talk about? I was going to say spew out, but that just doesn't sound right. But if there's anything else you want to talk about,
nothing comes to mind.
All right, so
it's been a journey.
It's what?
It's been a journey from from there to here.
Oh yes, and it can be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because you're so used to the way it is, and there are things that I think what I hear a lot from people is there's certain things that stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things is that because they scare the shit out of you with it is the whole thought of hell.
Right.
So that's one of the hardest things that I've heard from people to shake is that whole thing. And growing up as a Jew, we never really had a whole hell thing. There wasn't really a heaven and hell so much. It was just the kingdom of God, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
but I stopped believing a long time ago. I think when I was studying for my bar mitzvah is when the whole snowballing effect of non-belief happened. So,
Cool.
and I started studying other religions and putting it all together.
Yeah.
And I'll do my own deconversion story at one of these days.
Yeah.
But it was
Cool.
a lengthy process because I went through a lot of the the stupid shit as well, like the spiritual stuff, like you.
All right.
So anyway, but yeah, I'm definitely happy to hear these stories because I think it will help me as well in another series of videos that I do want to do. It's just I'm finding it can be difficult to maintain your cool when you're talking to people about what they believe and why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm not
sometimes
a speaker either, which is why I'll probably never do a YouTube channel. I'm not that great of a speaker.
yeah, it's just some of the things I hear people say. It's just like, what? You know, it's just some of these things like make your head shake. That's when you use that meme I was telling you about hurting the brain of your entire existence through every multiverse.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now that we've gone through all of this, tell us a little bit more about your graphic design. Like, how did you get into that?
Well, let's get started with the memes.
That's right. You were mentioning that before.
Yeah.
And so did you make some and someone said, you should put that on a shirt kind of thing? Or,
pretty much. I had a few different ones.
It's all the inspiration I need.
My weed-related ones. So after a few of those, I was like, okay, hey, you can't hurt.
Well, you know, I'm going to be buying one or two of them at some point. So I always buy stuff. I bought lots of shirts from some of the other atheists. Well, not lots, but plenty of so far. Like GE, Godless Engineers, Heathen shirt. Got one of those. Yeah, he's a good guy too. He's a really nice guy. Both of them are, him and Caitlin.
I haven't talked to Caitlin. I've talked to him, John a couple of times through Facebook.
Yeah. I've talked to Caitlin a few times. I also want to get that Apologia ham and egg shirt. That just cracks me up, man.
What is it?
Every time even if I mention it, that fucking song goes through my head every time. Ham and eggs, ham and eggs. You know, it's just like I'm humming it at work, and people are like, "The fuck is that?" I'm like, "Yeah, never mind. You won't understand." Unless you know what I'm talking about, you won't understand that shit.
Right.
All right, so I'm not really getting any responses here for whether or not we should do an after party. But are you into hanging out for a little bit more, and then we can just have people join if they want to join?
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll keep this as a separate entity, and then I'll start up a new hangout. So it'll be so this one will remain its own thing. Okay. But anyways, let's just finish up our conversation because we still got about 10 minutes left that we can. Because I like to keep these around an hour.
Right.
So, was there anyone maybe through the Twitter world? Because I recently only found you, maybe about 6 months ago or something. We kind of ran into each other across some of our posts and stuff. I hit it off like right away. Like, well, who else has inspired you?
Oh, let's see. Well, through either Twitter or Facebook, there's Sally Buxbaum Hunt. I don't know if you've heard of her or not. Godless Engineer. One of my longest ones that I've known the longest, Thomas Westbrook.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's the very first atheist activist that I came in contact with and made friends with on Facebook.
That's cool. That's very cool. Thomas is a really smart guy, and he's really friendly.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've learned is you don't have to be nervous or scared to talk to these people because really they're people like you and I, and more than likely, more than willing to talk to you.
Yeah. He's come a long way.
Yes, he has. I've been a fan of his videos for a long time. That Holy Kool-Aid is great. Said the Holy Kool-Aid name I thought was fucking, when I first saw that I was like, that's brilliant.
Right. Back to the very beginning when you were talking about my handle, Element X. That's actually a short version of Element X Designs. I came up. That's the name I came up with when I was in school, in high school. One of my dreams at that time was to someday be involved in art, design in some way or another for myself.
Right, of course.
And then I kind of lost that dream over the years. Life beat me down in a lot of different ways. So I didn't think I was ever going to achieve that. But now I have.
Well, it's a lot easier, I think, nowadays to do that too.
I started off with Element X Designs. I said January last year on Teespring, Teespring.com. They're a fulfillment platform where all you do.
I bought a few shirts from them.
All you do is upload your designs, set your prices, do your social marketing. Whenever somebody orders, they print it and they ship it. And they get their chunk off the top. I get what's left over as my profit. Now I'm also using Spreadshirt.com.
Spreadshirt's really good.
I use Spreadshirt now more than I do Teespring. All my new stuff I put on Spreadshirt.
Yeah, I was using Zazzle way back in the day. But I shut that one down. It was garbage.
But I now have two stores. I have the Element X Designs store, which I started off with, and then I also have Off the Chain Atheist apparel.
Cool.
Which is strictly, I decided to separate my atheist stuff from my general, designs. On my Element X Designs store, I've got some various themes, different funny, humorous things, some quotes. Weed, marijuana related.
Attaboy.
Humanist stuff, designs on there also.
Nice.
But back to where I was going with the Element X Designs, when I came up with that name, Element X, the X stands for expression.
Okay.
Every form of art, or whether it be a painting, a sculpture, or even your furniture design, it's an expression of the designer, person.
Yes.
And it's also an expression of the person who chooses it for their home to display or to wear apparel. And that's how I came up. That's how I came up with that name.
That's great. I think that's nice. That's really cool. I agree because I express myself through music, right? Because I'm the lyric writer.
Basically. Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm the one that writes all the lyrics and some of the music. I get together with the guitar player. Actually, our drummer, fuck. The kid's a savant, man. I tell you, he's not even a kid anymore. He's in his mid-30s, but he's extremely talented and he can play fucking any instrument. You put it in his hand, if he's never played it before, he'll figure it out in 10 minutes. Awesome. Like a violin. He picked up the violin one time. Never played it in his life before. He found his grandma's old violin or something. And he starts playing it like he'd been playing it for years. And I'm thinking in my head, there's every violin student around the world right now just got a shiver. Right? Because somebody who's never played it picked it up and they're like a fucking seasoned pro on it almost, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't even know you had a band.
Yeah,
I didn't even know you had a band.
Yeah, oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
I try to make that very clear as much as possible.
Well, I missed it somewhere.
We're called Liminus, which is Latin for on the threshold. Because we were calling the band Threshold way back in the day when we cut our first 6-song EP, which was back in 2006 or 7, I think. Anyways, but there's a band in England, a prog rock band called Threshold, and this is back when MySpace was a thing, and we had the band up on MySpace, and this guy emails me and he goes, we're gonna have to sue you if you don't change your name. I'm like, what? Why? That's because that's our name, and we've been using it since '93, and I'm like, ooh. Okay, maybe I should. So I looked up, I was into old antiquated languages that nobody uses anymore at the time. And I thought, well, what would it be in Old Latin? And I found different variations, but I liked the one liminus because it means on the threshold, or liminus, or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be pronunciation-wise. I've just been calling it liminus from there on out because it's easy to remember and spell. It's Liminnis. It's like saying Mississippi, MISS, even Aaron Ra, who has listened to some of our tunes, came back to me and said, wow, dude, you guys make some really decent music. And I was like, holy shit, coming from a metalhead like you, that's big kudos. So, and he really liked one of our songs. on SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud? Okay.
Yeah. I think a few people have already, Another Freaking Atheist, Don, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's tweeted out the SoundCloud link, and same with Rachel. She's also tweeted it out, and a few other people. And I'm getting feedback more so than I've had in quite some time, because I never really pushed it a lot. I just figured people would stumble upon it when they go across my Twitter or Facebook. More important to me was the whole blood donation thing that I do.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That I've now pinned post on my Twitter.
Right.
Because there's now a tradition to take a picture with my old man, who was BC's highest donor before he passed away. Right.
Yeah, I see that.
Put that up there.
Yeah.
Well,
again, I commend you again on that. That was really awesome.
It's 60,000 units of blood every year. They're shy here in Canada, so that's why I promote it as much as possible to try and bring those numbers a little higher, right, or lower, I should say, right?
Yeah.
So the story behind that's pretty interesting too, because what I've done has never been done in Canadian history for blood donors. So I'll tell that story another time.
Awesome, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little video on my own little thing at some point. Once I get a few more of these interviews under the belt. I really only have one scheduled and one more that I haven't set up. That'll be coming up the following week. So I've got some time in between to throw a couple of people in there to interview. So I'll figure it out. People will come to me. I usually get a message every now and again for people that are interested, like you. And I think it's really, really cool that you did this with me, Thomas. And thank you very much for doing so and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me on. It was a new experience for me.
Well, if you like it, maybe you can get involved with a few more of our stuff, or sit in on some of the after parties and stuff. Because you're always welcome to do that. If you see me going, you can always check in and see if we're doing it.
Cool deal. Sounds good. I will.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now, and it might take a few minutes, but I'll be thinking about doing an after party, and Thomas, you'll be the first one to get that link, of course. And everyone else, if you're interested, send me a DM on Twitter. It's at 604atheist. And I'll include you in it if you'd like to join us. We just may end up being me and him talking a little bit more about some other random shit like music, clothing, whatever.
I'll send you all my links here in just a moment.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, don't forget, like I always say, it's called faith because it's not fucking knowledge.
Right on.
All right, guys, we'll see you again soon, and look for the after party. All right.